Hi, I'm here. I'm called to talk about self-love. And it's not because I have a lot of it, it's because I am looking for it and I'm trying to understand how to embody that self-love more and more of the time. Because I truly believe that that is the solution to all of our problems, if that's really a thing. I say that with complete honesty. I really do. That the writing of Celebrate Your Grief brought me to that conclusion. More than anything, that is the message that I want to convey. And I'm kind of jumping to the end of the book, even though I've even really started discussing the beginning of it, because self-love is a message that is so important to me. And yet I don't know how to find it. I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to love another person. But in terms of really embodying all that is and that power and that love and staying in that vibration for a length of time, it's a hard thing to do. It really is. And I think it scares a lot of us, even just to hear the word self-love, because what does that mean? What is it? I just finished listening to a podcast by Guided by Biet, is her Instagram name, and she was being interviewed on a podcast called Always Inside Out. And Sarah Anne, and I can't remember her last name right now, is the woman that was interviewing her. The two of them had a really inspiring conversation, and a lot of it was centered around body love and body dysmorphia and eating habits and what's it called, intuitive eating. But there was so much more to that conversation that really resonated with me. And Biet is an author. She wrote a book called Don't Just Sit There, and I will try and include a link to that in the description of this video. But she's experienced bucket loads of grief in her life, and the conclusions that she's come to from that experience and from her life in meditation and the trauma and the addiction that she suffered from, all of it kind of come together for her to know that you have to be living life as though you really know that you're dying. The idea of death, I think, scares us all so much that we don't have the conversations about it. We don't have the discussions and the thoughts and the depth of exploration that we need to have in order to come to peace with it, because inevitably, like she says, we are all dying the moment that we're born. And this is something that I need to explore. And I'm super curious about how that impacts the way that I learn to love myself more, how I can explore that expression of love for me. But the reason, beyond all the incredible conversation that came out of this podcast, the reason that I'm talking about it is because on some level, because that conversation resonated in so many different ways for me, in a sense, I understand that as an expression of self-love for myself, because I truly believe that the vibration that I am living in and resonating in at any given time is going to be reflected back to me in the conversations, in the social media pieces, in the people that I meet and have discussions with. And I had a beautiful walk with a friend this morning, and it's those moments when you hear the thoughts that are in your head being spoken by somebody else, and then they expand on those thoughts even more and introduce you to a new concept or a new way of thinking about something. And those are the really beautiful moments that I absolutely love and adore and live for. And that to me is one expression of self-love. And when I can recognize that and own that, and owning it is the peace. It's like, that is true for me. That is my vibration. And here I am in this vibration, in this beautiful reflection, in conversation all at the same time. And you can really start to feel the energy of that acceptance and that allowing as it flows through you. So self-love, it's an interesting one. It's a complicated one, and it's dynamic. I think it's probably a moving target for all of us. But that is the beauty of it too, that just knowing that it is something that we are striving for, and that it's capable of being returned to us in so many ways, is such an exciting prospect. I came to the conclusion, or the understanding of it, in my grief process, because I loved the person that I lost so much that I projected all of the feelings of love onto them. And the more I explored this grief and this loss that I had, the more I came to realize that all along that feeling was just a reflection of the love that I had for myself. And that he wasn't the key, he wasn't the ticket to me feeling that way. Like, if he was gone, I believed for a long time that I could never experience that amount of joy and peace and love in my life. But I learned that all of that was from me always. It was always there. It was just this reflection of him reflecting what I believe to be my higher self back to me. And so when I was able to finally really wrap my head around that piece and accept that I've already done that, and that it's always there for me, inside of me, I just need to reconnect with it, then everything lifted, everything changed, my grief changed, and I could celebrate my grief, right? That's where it comes from, is that beautiful understanding that it wasn't them. They were just a reflection of me, and that I missing them was missing that way that I felt when I was with them, right? There's so much more to expand on that, and of course there's going to be plenty of episodes to be able to really delve into that, but I was so called to share this expression of self-love, and to own that I don't know how to do it most of the time. I get glimpses of it, and there's moments and maybe minutes in a day when it all comes together and that connection is there. But it's so much more than just how I look at myself in the mirror, and it's so much more about how I see the people around me and how I look at them. Because every time I judge someone, every time I am in comparison with somebody, all of those other sort of negative emotions, for lack of a better word, they are a reflection of how I feel about myself. And I own that. I have to own that and move through it and find out more and more where it is that I'm feeling that in my body. So I hope that this conversation, this little blurb of information that I'm like throwing at you today, resonates for you. And I am so grateful for anybody that's been watching the videos so far, and anyone jumping in and watching today. There is so much passion coming from me to you to share these topics, and anytime you feel called to throw a question at me or reach out to me, please do. You can reach out through YouTube, reach out on my website, carriescott.com, or on any of my social media channels. I'm so happy to have these connections and just feel the self-love that's resonating through the words that I'm sharing. Thanks so much for being here. Till next time. Bye.